While films have been made to promote music dating back to at least the 1960s, the music video became a fixture of pop culture in the 1980s. Accelerated by the birth of MTV, MuchMusic, and VH1, music videos in the 80s experienced extraordinary growth in both popularity and artistic creativity. So join the great pop culture debate as we attempt to name the best 1980s music video. I lost my lucrative endorsement deal with Pepsi after filming a video dancing in lingerie in front of burning crosses. Prudes! I'm your host, Eric Resniak. Please welcome my panelists for this episode. First up, the sign on his Love Shack says, "Stay away, fools." It's Derek Makita.
I mean, it has to be said. Those cold-hearted snakes be telling lies.
Tin roof untrusted.
Rusted.
Untrusted, I'm saying in this case.
Nice.
Next, he's a man who wishes he'd bought stock in Purple Room ambiance 40 years ago just for the Stranger Things payoff. It's John Higgins.
Between running up that hill, last season's finale, running up that hill, and When Doves Cry for the series finale, I'd be rich.
You would, and man, if I could make a deal with God, there are a lot of changes I would have made to my 80s experience, I'll tell you that. And finally, she's a little bit sketchy, and not just because she lives inside a comic and is trying to lure you in. It's Kate Rakulia.
Take on me, Eric. Take me on.
I will, but not in a pipe wrench fight. And up at the producer booth, we have Bob Erlenbach, who is ensuring that we make it through the wilderness. Somehow we'll make it through. And with the introductions out of the way, let's grab this episode's bracket from greatpopculturedebate.com and get into our Sweet 16 before we give love a bad name. I'll warn you, there are a lot of unanimous decisions this episode, so let's just get into it. First up, things are going dark for Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart, a 4-seed from 1983, which the panel unanimously decided could not take on One Seed Take On Me by A-ha. But John wanted to say a few words about the video, which, by the way, has 1.2 billion views on YouTube as of this recording. John, what are we going to say?
Yeah, I was going to actually say very much the same thing. 1.3 is the number I got. Billion with a B views on YouTube. And again, not to mention the literal video that was so inspirational. Directed by Russell Mulcahy. His name is going to come up over and over again. He did a lot of videos for Elton in the 80s. He did most of the Duran work in the 80s. And a little video called Video Killed the Radio Star. He was behind. But I promise you, if he were sitting here now and we asked him, what the fuck, Russell? I mean, what he would have, what could he say? What could he possibly say except, turn around, bright eyes.
Turn around, bright eyes.
To me, it is one of the best songs ever written. Best songs ever written. Best video. But if we ever do a Jim Steinman best of, please, dear God, sign me up.
Yes. Yes.
Kate wants it.
Yes.
I think it's going to happen one of these days. I think it'll happen. This video is cracked out in the best possible way. And I think that is why it has 1.3 billion views. I mean, Bonnie Tyler is not exactly, Madonna, but this video has way more views than almost any Madonna video. It's wild. But it's up against Take On Me by A-ha. And if you want to talk about 80s music videos, that's a pretty steep hill. So we will be moving Take On Me into round 2. Next, another unanimous victory, this time for 3-seed Money for Nothing by Dire Straits from 1985, which means we won't be calling Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al a 2-seed for anything on this bracket. But Derek, you wanted to speak on Al. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. Go for it.
The music video for Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al is one of those lightning in a bottle ideas that shouldn't work, but absolutely does.
Yes.
It's funny. It's deceptively simple and completely inseparable from the song now. The cultural cachet of Chevy Chase in the mid 80s cannot be overstated. This video, though, also achieved the intended goal, which was relaunching Paul Simon for a younger, more kind of video forward generation. It's just up against Money for Nothing, which is far cooler. It's more innovative and more 80s in its style. So I get it.
Yeah, we referenced this in the intro, which is one of the things that 80s music did that I don't know happens now is artists from previous decades got a completely new life. Tina Turner was not exactly, I mean, she was doing club acts, I think, in Vegas, and she got relaunched. Elton John's personal friend. Obviously got a second win for music videos.
Robert
Queen,
Palmer.
Robert Palmer. You could go on and on with this, and I think Paul
Mhm.
Simon is one of them. It's really cool the 80s videos did it, but that was that kind of bang bang moment where a lot of things could happen then that can't happen now. So
Yep.
Yeah.
very cool, but it's not as cool as Money for Nothing. So that will advance into round 2. It's
Mhm.
another unanimous victory, this time for Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, a 1 seed released in 1986, which means that the panel is revoking the party privileges for Beastie Boys' 4 seed, You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party from 1986. But I wanted to speak on the Beasties. Kick it! So Sledgehammer should 100% advance here. It's not even close. Fight for Your Right is kind of a little bit of a, I don't even know. It looks like it was made for about $100, and indeed, I think it probably was.
Oh, yeah.
However, the Beastie Boys themselves were kind of a monumental act for the 80s, right? Is it fucked up that the only like hip hop act on MTV at that point was a trio of white boys? It sure is. But in that way alone, it was groundbreaking. I think that was the first hip hop song I ever heard, aside from like Blondie's Rapture, right? But this is a narrative video that tells a story, which was one of the things that 80s videos did a lot. And it is kind of shocking. And in fact, I could not find it on the Beastie Boys official YouTube channel. Could not find it. And I wonder if it's because if you go back and watch that video now on the non-Beastie Boys video channels, it's a lot of sexual assault that happens in very rapid succession.
That
A
seems
lot.
right. That
A
seems
lot.
right.
Yes. Some fun facts about this video. It includes cameos by Rick Rubin, who was then unknown, but was the producer for this song, and Tabitha Soren, who would go on to be an MTV News mainstay.
That's
And
a
I
name I haven't heard in a
That's
long
a name.
time.
Indeed. That being said, it should not advance over Sledgehammer, which is fucking iconic. So we will be moving Sledgehammer into round 2. Next, someone call Kurt Loder, or maybe Tabitha Soren, because we have big news. It's an actual debate. Most of the panel is pushing forward 3-seed Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, but Derek has been saving up his jukebox money to invest in the B-52s and 2-seed Love Shack from 1989. Derek, knock a little louder, sugar. Get us to head on down to the Love Shack.
So I know I'm not going to win here, and I honestly can't argue against the cultural importance of Video Killed the Radio Star. But just as the song Love Shack is a certified 80s classic, its video is every bit as impactful and really did launch the B-52s into the mainstream. Their unique brand of colorful kitsch is on full display, and it's just a joy to watch. It's also unbeknownst to really anyone, because she's merely an extra in the background. This is RuPaul's first Main Street pop culture appearance.
Yep.
5 years later, she'd exploded to the world with Supermodel but in 1989, the Love Shack gave us our first glimpse of this future icon. So it's got importance across the board. It's just up against a juggernaut, you know.
Love Shack is a song that exists outside of time. It is a song from the 1980s that feels like a song that was referenced from the 1960s, and aesthetically the video looks like the 1990s. It could be at any point in time, and it works. So for that way, it's fucking magical. And with that being said, I'm curious, did he switch anybody's vote here? John, are you sticking with Video Killed the Radio Star?
Yeah, pound for pound, I'm not sure if Video Killed the Radio Star is a tremendous video, but it is so important in the milieu. Even though 3 of us, I think, have heard the surround sound version of Love Shack and really enjoyed it, I'm going to stick with Radio Star.
All right, Kate, has he switched your vote?
No, but what you said about it existing outside of time is absolutely true, but I am still with Video Killed the Radio Star.
All right, so we will be moving the Buggles and Video Killed the Radio Star into round 2. Back to our unanimous decisions. The panel was scared to not move forward Michael Jackson's 1-seed Thriller from 1983, which meant that the music has stopped for Whitney Houston and 4-seed I Wanna Dance with Somebody from 1987. Kate, Whitney's done all right up till now, but tell us why you'll miss dancing with her.
Woo! I mean, obviously, of course, Thriller should go on. This was my introduction to Whitney Houston. It is such a joyful, colorful 80s aesthetic music video of her. Just the funny thing I think about this video is that Whitney Houston famously cannot dance. And so the director had these incredible dancers all around her. So she just had to kind of
Yeah.
And you just didn't notice it. She is looking for someone to dance with her, so she's not dancing. I guess you could make that philosophical argument. But it is a dancing, joyful, wonderful song. It was on her second album. Huge hit for her. I'm glad it's here in the bracket, but it's not going to beat Thriller.
It ain't gonna beat Thriller. So we will be moving Thriller into round 2. Next, the panel is evenly split between Cyndi Lauper's 2-seed, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun from 1983, and Duran's 3-seed, Hungry Like the Wolf from 1982. I will summon the spirit of Captain Lou Albano as I push for Cyndi. John, get in touch with the ground and go on the hunt for Duran, and Wolf. John, please go first.
I'm on the hunt. The irony is, of course, it was shot in Sri Lanka. There are no wolves in Sri Lanka, so I'm just saying, a little bit out of the box there. Throughout this bracket, I'm going to be talking a little bit about something I like to call Elton adjacent. The lead singer for Duran, Simon Le Bon, went to the same grade school as Elton John, and this video was directed by the same director that did most of Elton John's 80s work. So I love that sort of overlap. This video changed the game, honestly, for the not just the video industry, which was MTV wasn't even a year old when this came out, but also the music industry as a whole. MTV were trying to compete and overtake rock radio stations in breaking new music. Okay, and when this video came out, Duran wasn't Duran. They'd had a minor hit, but they weren't what we think of them now. So an executive at MTV said, in a staff meeting, dude, I just saw the best video ever. We've got to play it. And they put it in heavy rotation. By the time the dust settled, it had peaked at number 3 on Billboard. And Duran became the Duran we know today. I mean, there's no question. It shifted their trajectory as a band, and it also shifted the influence that MTV had over the popular music culture. This video specifically won the first ever Grammy for Best Video in 1984. And in Sri Lanka, the people on the street, and they must have just thought, what the frick is going on when they're shooting this video? I mean, we as people who maybe were, I don't want to say are more civilized, but had a little bit more behind us, wondered what the hell was going on, with Simon Le Bon's pouty lips, if nothing else. Also, this was one of the first videos that brought a cinematic ethos to the thing. Most videos were sort of in the square thing. This had the widescreen going on, and it also evoked Raiders of the Lost Ark visually, and even Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, no, great points. And we have done a disservice by not doing a Best Duran song episode of this podcast. I feel like that's a band that has fallen out of favor, but my God, that catalog is still so fresh.
Stacked.
So fierce. Their greatest hits album, woo, child. Okay, I'm here to talk about Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So I think this video is a great example of the Wild West nature of 80s music videos. Cyndi Lauper was basically an unknown at the time this came out. There was no budget for this video whatsoever, so she pulled together a cast of volunteers, including WWE wrestling character Captain Lou Albano, her actual mom playing her mom, and various secretaries from her record label. She was loaned video equipment by Saturday Night Live boss Lorne Michaels, and that led to some of the earliest digital graphics ever in music videos. Check out that bridge with the bubble segment, as well as inserts from black and white films from the 1920s to reference the themes of the song. That stuff might seem quaint now, but at the time it was literally revolutionary. Girls Just Want to Have Fun probably would have been a hit even without the video, but there is no question that the video helped tremendously. Lauper was one of the ingenue stars of the art form, and her iconoclastic, wild style was captured brilliantly in this video. Her voice is incredible on its own, but that voice, paired with that visual, created a sensation that would not have happened without the music video. It has 1.6 billion views on YouTube. It's not the most watched video on this list, but it's a huge number. Derek, this is a tough matchup. Where are you going to go?
It is a tough matchup, but I think I'm going to stick with Cyndi here.
Kate Rakulia, is it going to be Duran or Cyndi?
So I am very swayable, and I feel like Hungry Like the Wolf I originally voted for it. I think it has a little bit of a Citizen Kane problem where you watch it now and you're like, big whoop, all music videos look like this now, right? And so I watched it again. I'd seen it before, but then I watched Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which I've seen many times, and I was so immediately charmed by Girls Just Want to Have Fun in a different way, in a way that was beyond what I even remembered as a kid. I think that she is such a unique performer that video absolutely captures. Slima Laban, also a unique performer, gorgeous, but like Cyndi's something else. She's something else. So I'm actually switching to Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
You did a great job, John, and we will definitely have you back if you would join us for our best Duran song episode. How about that?
Yes, absolutely.
So we will be moving Cyndi Lauper into round 2. Next, in a battle of biblical proportions, 3/4 of the panel is praying that Madonna and Once He'd Like a Prayer makes it to round 2. But John thinks it would be nice if we could touch on George Michael and Four Seed Faith from 1987. John, it takes a strong man, but show us the door in defense of the late, great George Michael.
Late and great. So sad. Again, this Elton adjacent thing, it goes without saying Elton and George Michael had a close personal and professional relationship, capped by the fact that George Michael had a #1 worldwide hit with Elton's song "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." In
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elton John. Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, George was a fan. But here's my hot take on Faith. I don't think he was actually playing the guitar. But the video gives us 3 songs for the price of 1. Okay, the song that you hear as the video opens is a little bit of "I Want Your Sex," the previous single that had been banned on many video and some audio outlets. And then the organ intro to Freedom, which is part of the album track Faith, and then, of course, Faith. So 3 for 1. That's hard to beat. And we think of George I think of George as a solo artist now. That's sort of where he started in my thing, because I was not a hip to Wham, basically, and not a lot of America was. It was more of a UK thing, a little bit of America, but very much UK. But after Faith came out, holy smokes, George Michael, and I'm a straight man, holy smokes, George Michael. This absolutely put him on the rocket ship to his I hate to say iconic all the damn time, but iconic status as a solo artist. Not to mention the Ray-Bans, the ripped jeans, and the BSA Rockers Revenge leather bike jackets. I'm sure those were selling through the roof at the time. The song was #1 for 4 weeks. The video also won MTV Video Music Award for Best Male Video in that one. But the thing I like best about this whole thing is a couple of quotes that George had to say about the making of the video. He said, quote, "The chords I played on the guitar in that video are rubbish, but I did it with such conviction, it worked." And in basically the same quote, he goes on to say, "For Americans, you stick a guitar on and you've got a bigger penis, and it's as simple as that."
I mean,
the man is not wrong.
It's
not wrong.
wrong.
Thank you. Kate, has he swayed you?
No, I mean, Faith is incredible, but like a prayer.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. If there was any male pop star that was, I think, destined for MTV, it was George Michael.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm so glad that we talked about it, but we will be moving Like a Prayer into round 2. Finally, in round 1, the bulk of the panel is rhythmically swaying back and forth and pretending to play instruments while picking Robert Palmer and 2-seed Addicted to Love from 1986, while I think we should crown Prince and 3-seed When Doves Cry from 1984. I will explain why we should dig, if you will, this iconic picture from Prince. This video is cinematic, honey. It is like a John Woo film, except it predates John Woo films coming to America by like a decade. The cinematic quality makes sense because this was part of the Purple Rain album, and it includes scenes from that movie. It also includes shots of Prince and the Revolution performing the song, as well as a butt-naked Prince emerging from a bathtub and seducing the camera, and then lots of Prince riding a motorcycle. There's so much motorcycle riding for no reason. Like, okay, we get the idea, Prince. You're good. The back half of the video is shot in a mirrored frame with Prince and the band kind of splitting and emerging from it. And then there's this graphic image of a woman's face that I swear is Twiggy from the 1960s. I swear it looks like Twiggy's face. But in hindsight, should it advance over Addicted to Love? No, it should not. I was watching this video. It's just like, I love it and I love Prince, but my God, that Addicted to Love video. John, I assume I haven't swayed you. Are you sticking with Addicted to Love here?
I am addicted to Love. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kate?
Hot take, When Doves Cry is a far superior song, but this is not 80s song.
Right.
This is 80s video.
You are right.
Derek?
You're right. Oh, I'm still a Palmer girl all the way.
Okay. Love it. And that's the end of round one. We're going to check in with Nina Blackwood, Martha Quinn, Mark Goodman, and the rest of the MTV VJs. We'll be right back. Hello, 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 listeners. We hope you're enjoying this week's episode. If you've ever wondered how we land on the 16 finalists in our brackets, head over to our website, greatpopculturedebate.com. That's where you'll find our public polls for upcoming topics, and your votes decide what we will debate next. While you're there, be sure to check out the listener bracket for this episode so you can play along at home. You can also explore related episodes like Best Madonna Music Video, Best One-Hit Wonder of the 70s and 80s, and Best Whitney Houston Song, all available right now. And don't forget about our Patreon. Our supporters get access to exclusive episodes, 2 available at all times, with new Patreon-only episodes dropping twice a year. Visit patreon.com/greatpopculturedebate to sign up and listen to Best Song of 2006 and Best Legion of Superheroes member today. We also have a weekly newsletter packed with updates on movies, TV, music, video games, and more. Just head to the subscribe section of our website and sign up today. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And once again, visit greatpopculturedebate.com for upcoming polls, TV recaps, and tons of additional bonus content. We'll be right back after this. And we are back for round 2 of our Best 80s Music Video debate. Before we get into the Elite 8, I would like to ask my panelists if they can recall the first music video they ever watched. I'm going to start with John Higgins.
I cannot. So I was just about 20 years old when MTV began. It began in 81, so I would have been 21 years old. But I didn't latch onto it for quite a while because I was a poor college student, and also I was selling records at the time, vinyl records. But MTV was not an over-the-air thing. It was a cable option.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are seeing MTV videos now a lot more easily than we were able to see them then. It took me some time to, if I had the friend that had the cable selection that had MTV, then I was good. But most of the time I was not. So it was very, very hit or miss for me for a good, year or two before I was able to see it with any sort of regularity.
It's a great point. And I always was like, well, MTV no longer has music videos. Music videos are dead. Au contraire, Gummy Bear. Music videos in the 2020s are arguably more important than ever. They are putting a lot of money into them. They get huge views on social media, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They're monetized. It actually goes right into the artist's pockets. Music videos, it's just a different way of consuming them, but the art form is very much still alive and well. So thank you very much. Derek, do you have an early music video memory you'd like to share with us?
I suspect it was Take On Me, only because that one, as a young kid in the 80s, the style of it would have stood out to me. But for some reason in my head, I actually think it was What's Love Got to Do with It by Tina Turner, which isn't a super memorable video, but it's seared in my brain for some reason. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, and I mean, she looks so good in that video.
She does. She really does.
Oh, those pumps. Kate, what is kind of your early music video memory?
The very first time I remember seeing what could be classified as a music video, it was the immortal Burns and Burns classic Fish Heads.
Oh my God. Nickelodeon.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Eat them up. Yum.
Yum.
But the actual first real big pop culture video I do remember seeing was Thriller. And when I say it scared the ever-loving shit out of me, I was 4. I can't believe I saw that when I was 4.
Yeah. No,
but I remember watching that. Arguably, is that a music video? Discuss.
We're going to get into that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Thank you. I would say, weirdly, I don't know why this is sticking out to me, but Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark was something that, again, not a super memorable video, right, Derek? Mm-hmm. He's not doing anything exciting. Courtney Cox is there, looking great, by the way. But it's just a video that is just a video, but there's something about it that was oh, it also was in that peak of American patriotism bullshit that was very much at that time. And that's what I was getting. So anyway.
You know what else I remember seeing? Weird Al's Eat It.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
As a
touched
very
on.
young child, the first like videos that made it across my transom were like comedy ones.
And
Can
we
we all say a silent prayer for VH1, originally called Video Hits One? I thought their playlist was in many ways superior to MTV.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely. That's a great
Mhm,
point.
mhm,
Maybe we'll do
mhm.
best VH1 video at some
Oh,
point.
that's a good one.
It's
Yeah.
obviously Walking on Broken Glass. I will take no argument.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh, that was fast.
All right.
Now what do
So
we do?
the best place to follow us is on Blue Sky at gpcd.bsky.social or at Great Pop Culture Debate on Instagram or TikTok. You should also make sure to subscribe to our page on YouTube or Twitch, where we're posting original video and gaming content, as well as video versions of these episodes. Now, let's get into round two before Max Headroom hacks the system and pirates our signal. First up, another unanimous victory for 1 seed Take On Me by Aha, which left 3 seed Dire Straits in, well, dire straits, as 3 seed Money for Nothing is broke in our bracket. But Derek, you wanted to speak on this influential video.
Yeah, I mean, the style points for both of these picks are absolutely off the charts.
Yep.
And I know in my heart that the right choice is Take On Me because it just has more kind of broad 80s pop cultural cachet, not to advance. That said, let's give Dire Straits Money for Nothing its moment in the spotlight.
Yep.
I mean, the innovation, it was the first mainstream use of CGI in a music video. It was also MTV's kind of self-branding moment with the I want my MTV, right?
Yep.
It was so revolutionary for the time that it ended up influencing, kind of future tech-driven videos and commercials. It feels very of its moment, but also kind of like retro futurist if we're looking at it now. I think absent some of the other picks that are moving forward, these could also be a final two matchup in my mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I don't disagree.
I totally.
Yeah. I know we all have a special affinity for not just Take On Me as a video, but also as a song, which is why, Money for Nothing has to kind of end its run here. That said, I will actually flip my vote here to Money for Nothing to kind of honor its contribution to the category. If it were up against some of these lesser picks, it might have stood a better chance at advancing to the final.
So, great argument, Derek. Kate, has he swayed you?
No, again, I totally agree, Derek, but my heart is with Aha.
Yeah.
John Higgins, has he swayed you?
No, I love, though, that the video made what was basically a pretty white bread, milquetoast kind of looking band that had no reason on being the hip side of anything, a hip, entity. But no, I'm still with Aha.
Yeah, also, I was not until my 20s until I realized there's a very deliberate gay slur in that song, and it's pretty brutal. So that's
sure
a fun
is.
little thing to note. All right, so we will be moving Aha's Take On Me into the final four. Speaking of influential and revolutionary, 1 seed Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel is unanimously advancing past 3 seed Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, but Kate wanted to at least speak on the legacy of the Buggles and the very first video to ever air on MTV. Kate, why don't you take it?
Famously, very first video to ever air on MTV, 12:01 a.m. on the 1st of August, 1981. It was also the first video shown on MTV Classic in 2010, which I think is kind of cute. It's a song about an era passing, very much in keeping with what MTV was trying to brand itself to be, that they are not actually competing with radio. They are the future. The future is here now. The video was written and directed by Australian director Russell Mulcahy. Not the first time we've talked about him. He directed many important videos. Also is an incredible film director, directed Highlander. And you can see the aesthetic of Highlander, the movie, is very much a music video aesthetic, with all the Queen songs and everything, where he's like walking over the hill, who wants to live forever?
There it is. There's the kid singing.
There's them singing. It has like Doctor Who level effects. The band is playing. There's a girl, and then her radio explodes, and she goes into the future. But it's a little cinematic experience, right? Like, and this was MTV's mission statement. It's important to speak on it. But wait, what is it up against?
It's up against
Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah. It's important in the history, but Sledgehammer is a better 80s video.
Yeah, the other thing I will say is that not only was it the first video played on those things, MTV played it again for its 1 millionth video ever played on the channel, which I think was fascinating in 2000. And since now there's like 6 million versions of Ridiculousness playing on MTV every single day, it's just a signal to the time that was. But on a sadder note, it was also the final video to be played on MTV Music in the UK and Ireland, whose services shut down on December 31st on 2025. And what I think is fascinating, there's something about this video that feels prophetic to me. I mean, the song says, you were the first one, you'll be the last one. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's something about this that feels very weirdly heavy now in a way that it didn't back in the day. So
I'm sorry, it did to me back in the day. It shook me to my core. Again, I was selling vinyl records when this stuff was happening. And the people that were coming in were not saying, I heard a song on the radio. What you know, they were saying, what they describe a video, and it was our job to figure out what song they were talking about. Also, just a quick thing, the Buggles, fantastic two-man band, half of which was Trevor Horn. So, you know, one of the greatest 80s producers in the world. So
for sure. Yeah. That being said, we are going to move it out of the bracket and we're going to push Sledgehammer into the final four. Next, the majority of the panel thinks One Seed Thriller by Michael Jackson is a monster in this bracket, but John Wants to Come Home by The Morning Light with Two Seed Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. John, take it away.
Yeah, I like Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It's a fine song. It's a fine video. She was an amazing star, but this is also a vote against Thriller. Listen, Thriller was a moment. I was one of the people that was sitting in front of the TV at the assigned time to watch the world premiere of this video. It was when I watched it earlier today for this podcast. It is not aged well, I should say. Also, it's too long. It is 11 and a half minutes. So my vote is for the song Thriller. Yes, tremendous track. But before Thriller, the video, there was Beat It, the video. Tremendous piece of work. There was Billie Jean, the video. Tremendous piece of work. We all watched Thriller because we were supposed to. And how many of us watched it after? I don't know.
I think we watched it on Halloween. Hi, Kate. Yes. Gabriel, you're raising your hand.
I watched it because it scared me. And now I love horror movies. Thank you, Thriller.
Derek, has he swayed you? Are you sticking with Thriller?
No, it's got to be Thriller for me.
Kate?
I'm a Thriller, yeah.
Well, thank you for defending Cyndi. We will be moving Thriller into the final four. Finally, in round two, an actual debate as the bulk of the panel is on its knees calling the name of Madonna and One Seed Like a Prayer. But John remains addicted to Robert Palmer's Two Seed Addicted to Love. John, I hope your throat isn't tight and that you can breathe because you need to convince us to believe in love. Derek, life is a mystery and everyone must stand alone. But right now, you have the votes for Like a Prayer. John, please go first.
I'm going to leave with my hot take. I don't think they were actually playing the instruments. It was directed by fashion photographer Terrence Donovan, who also art directed it. And basically, he collected these strong models from the time, dressed them up as sort of expressionless Patrick Nagel model. And again, tie into Duran. Patrick Nagel did the artwork for the first for the Rio album by Duran. The suggestion that Terrence Donovan gave the models was, listen, you are being watched, but you're unattainable. So, you know, pretend there's a pane of glass between, and there was in fact, a pane of glass between you and the audience. It was Robert Palmer's only #1 hit in the U.S., which is to me sad because he had such a strong career before this with things like Sneaking Sally Through the Alley and stuff like that. But it was on the strength of this video. It was his only #1 hit in the U.S. It was his only Grammy win for the song. The video itself, the 8th most played video on MTV.
Wow.
A little shocking, but true. A lot of heterosexual men out there.
A lot of heterosexual men. And a lot of jiggling in this video. A lot of jiggling.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. It ranked #3 on VH1's top 20 videos of the 80s. So highly ranked, if not necessarily highly respected at the time. But it won the MTV Video Music Award for Best Male Video in its year, which I think is hysterical because who the fuck knew there was a male in it?
Right.
My own personal video award for best interplay between lighting and costuming. Oh my God. The jiggling was fantastic.
All right. Derek, talk to us about Like a Prayer.
Yeah, I'll go back to my previous argument in the Best Madonna music video episode we did. I think Like a Prayer is quite possibly the most controversial and boundary pushing music video of the 80s. And actually, it has to be judged by the visual and the style choices alone to really appreciate its genius, right? The song itself, its lyrical content, it's not really anything controversial, but Madonna needed this moment to continue her evolution as a risk-taking music artist. It's so bold that it's still being discussed all these decades later. Unlike a lot of other 80s picks, Like a Prayer doesn't just rely on fashion and performance to drive home its message. This video has a narrative, and it adds moral weight and complexity to the songs and to the song and the lyrics itself. In the same way Thriller feels like a short film, so does Like a Prayer, right?
Yeah.
She proved that music videos couldn't just entertain, they could provoke, right? It doesn't shy away from sensitive subjects like racial discrimination and religious dogma and eroticism in art. It takes them all head on, right? When news outlets debated it, they debated it through the lens of culture, not art. And that's powerful stuff. And that's why it should advance.
Great argument. Kate, did he sway you, or are you sticking? Well, you're sticking with.
I'm sticking. I'm with Like a Prayer, and I can say more stuff about it later.
Okay. I'm going to say this for Robert Palmer and Addicted to Love. That video continues to have ripple effects in pop culture to today. In the season 18 RuPaul's Drag Race episode that just aired like 3 weeks ago, RuPaul performs on their fake version of Saturday Night Live doing one of her songs, and she has Robert Palmer boys behind her doing the shuffle with the fake instruments. And I was like, oh my God, this is a Robert Palmer pastiche. I'm sure the majority of Gen Z had no idea what was going on. The outfits were very exciting to me. The way I'm sure that the women's outfits were exciting to you, John, in Robert Palmer. But like it continues to have an iconography associated with it that is very strong. Also, that I always say, like, man, that lipstick is not your color. That lipstick was the exact right color for those women. They look so good. That slick back hair, that is a fierce look. And I always thought it would be funny to do a parody like the Robert Palmer girls are stuck in Robert Palmer's mansion to this day. And what has become of them?
Free them. Free the Robert Palmer girls.
Free the Robert Palmer girls. But that being said, I am voting with Madonna and Like a Prayer. So we will be moving it into the final four. And with that, we have our final four. We're going to take a quick break to take the Pepsi challenge and to clarify if we ever, in fact, located the beef. We'll be right back. And we are back with the final four of our best 80s music video debate. Let's look at what we have. It is Take On Me by a-ha, a 1 seed, versus Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, a 1 seed, Thriller by Michael Jackson, a 1 seed, versus Like a Prayer by Madonna, a 1 seed. All 4 1 seeds. All right, I want to say, Kate, are these the songs that you expected to be here? The videos, I should say.
Yeah, it is. Like when I first was like, oh yeah, we're doing best 80s video, it's going to be blank. And then I was like, oh, I forgot about that other one. And they're both here.
Yeah.
Yep.
John, are you surprised by anybody in this final four?
Personal opinion about Thriller aside, honestly, no. It would have been a crime if a-ha was not in here. Yep. And I love the respect that Sledgehammer is getting as well. And I can talk about it an hour later if you like.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about both of those. We haven't really yet. Derek, thoughts?
Yeah, I think all of these have kind of the cultural style points necessary to be in the top 4, so that's why they're here.
Let's get into these debates. Take On Me versus Sledgehammer. I would like to start at the top of the group with Derek. Where are you going on this one?
It is Take On Me. Perfect.
Okay. John, you said you had some stuff to talk about with Take On Me and Sledgehammer. So do you want to give us your take on both of them? Take on both of them.
Yeah, I'll leave Take On Me to others to better sort of elucidate what that video is. Just tremendous thing. But Sledgehammer, I'm just glad to see it here. I was surprised. I love it, but it also scares me. It's just there's an unsettling vibe to that video. But I was surprised to learn in a good way that it was the most played video on MTV ever.
Wow.
Also the most played video on VH1. And a lot of this was because of the sort of the time slots that it was able to be played in and stuff. It was played
Interesting.
middle of the night and also during the day kind of stuff. So, it did its, Peter Gabriel proud. It was up for 9 awards in the 1987 Video Music Awards. It won 9 awards.
Wow.
And, it won everything it was
crazy.
nominated for,
Wow.
including Video of the Year.
Yep.
That still remains the most awards ever won by a single video at the Video Music Awards. Some of the animation was done by Wallace and Gromit's creator,
get out.
Nick Park of Aardman Animation. So now that you
can
know
see
that,
it.
you look
Yep.
at it, you'll
Yep.
see it, you'll notice it. This thing was done with stop motion animation before computers were doing this work. So it was basically a collection of photographs. 1 second of video was 24 photographs, 24 frames to a
God.
second.
Wow.
So that, let's do the math here for a moment. 6,900 individual photographs make
Wow.
up that thing. And Peter Gabriel suffered through a great deal of them. He was under glass with the fish and the fruit and everything for 16 hours, I think, one day he said.
Wow.
And then there's that brief thing where the clouds are going across his face. His face is painted blue. Each one of those took, dozens of images to create. And they had to scrub his face clean and move the clouds over that much and then paint them blue. And not to mention the roller coaster hair thing. That was Vaseline in his hair. It took him 5 times, I think, groundbreaking then. And if they did it now, it would be groundbreaking now.
Yeah, that's such a
Extraordinary
great point.
Mhm.
Thank you. Really good argument. Kate, Take on Me or Sledgehammer?
I am Take on Me. I love that this is the battle of the 2 animated like juggernauts of 80s music videos. I can talk about Take on Me now if you want me to.
Please do.
I love this video with my whole entire soul. This was the one where I was like, oh, obviously the winner of the best 80s video is Take on Me. There are no, and then I was like, oh, also Thriller. But I think it's Take on Me, and here's where I'm going to make my argument. I'm making a case. Let's go. So, Norwegian synth pop band, one-hit wonder, but what a hit. This video made this whole thing a global sensation, and that's why I think Michael Jackson was a global sensation when he got to Thriller. Wasn't before they got to this video. So it is so technically innovative and good. It has a whole 3-act story structure. That story is about the porous boundary between art and life. Self-referential. How much more valuable. It's also about how much more valuable your band is in an era of MTV when your lead singer is dreamy AF and he wants to break out of his reality into yours, which is the promise of MTV, right? When he so, you can go watch the video, but basically he's in a comic and he seduces this like British woman in a cafe. And the seducer, he pulls her into his world and there's like stock car racers and they chase him with a wrench. And at the end, he breaks out when he's like bashing himself against the walls of her apartment to make himself real. It is so emotional.
It is
so good. So this song feels like yearning. The video is about yearning, right? And it creates this feedback loop that is just atmospheric. It's huge. It's a huge thing. The style of animation is so 80s. It's rotoscoping, which if you don't know what that is, it's a thing that Ralph Bakshi used it a lot. It's actually what Richard Linklater uses in Waking Life, like digital rotoscoping in Scanner Darkly. It's where they trace film with hand-drawn to get really sort of like fluid kind of like uncanny human movements. Everyone in this also looks like they're sort of Patrick Nagel-esque. I honestly am like, did they know they were making art when they made this video? Part of my like argument here is this is actually the second video for this song. There is an original video that I think came out, I think it's 84 and 85 or 83 and 84. I forget what the years are exactly. But the first video that came out, it's a different mix of the song. It's not quite as catchy. And it's just the band playing and like there's a woman flopping around in the background. and like, I think it's Warner Brothers. They were like, no. We need to do something more with this song because this song is great and we can make a crap ton of money. This video won a shit ton of VMAs. It won Best New Artist, Best Concept Video, Most Experimental Video, Best Direction in Video, Best Special Effects in a Video, Viewer's Choice. Like, this video made the song. It's wide exposure. It's playing on MTV, made this song, which is great, 80s royalty. So that's my argument.
Mhm.
So to
Dropping the mic.
recap, John, are you on Sledgehammer here?
I am. I love Take On Me. Does it have to be these two against one
I
another?
know,
Can't
I
we,
know.
Can't we cross-pollinate some? Yeah, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, it could easily be a top 2. Honestly, that's the honest thing. I'm giving it to Take On Me, but I'm so glad that we talked about Sledgehammer. I don't think we've ever talked about it ever on this podcast. And if you're listening to this and you have no idea what we're talking about, I really encourage you to go to YouTube right now and watch the Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video. I don't care how old you are. If you've never seen it, your mind will be blown. You know those reaction videos where the people hear Phil Collins in the Air Tonight drum solo and we're like, whoa! This is
Like
that,
that.
but it's the entire video nonstop. It is art. But so is Take On Me.
Yep.
And I give for what Kate said. Aha was popular in Sweden and had success in Europe, but this blew them up and they were a one-hit wonder, but what a hit and what a wonder. And that was the power of the video alone. Peter Gabriel was already successful. By the way, Big Time, also a very good video.
Oh, so good.
Great song. Underrated. But I give this to Take On Me. So that will move into the final 2. Thriller versus Like a Prayer. I'd like to start back of the pack with Kate.
I mean, I do love Thriller. Like, it did terrify me as a child, and there is a direct line between me being terrified of Thriller and me loving horror movies the way I do now. So, right. So there's that. Like, it is the promise of this sort of cinematic experience of videos writ large. Is it more of a short film? Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, Like a Prayer kind of has a short film structure. Like there's a curtain at the end, like they take a bow. It says the end, I believe. But it is clearly a video. And like it has, I'm going to give it to Like a Prayer because I am chaos.
John Higgins, I think I know where you're going here.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, if you like Thriller, just watch the original version of it. A little thing we like to call American Werewolf in London. Tremendous film. Yeah, I'm going to go with Like a Prayer.
Derek, is it going to be Thriller or is it Like a Prayer?
Chaos.
So I'm going to go with Like a Prayer here, but I want to say something about Thriller. Okay. We're talking about like Berlin Wall level of smashing down boundaries on MTV when this came out. Like it was such a juggernaut that MTV had no choice but to air it and then slowly start creeping in the black artists onto MTV. So it does something there. Everything about this is iconic, but you're absolutely right. It is a short film. To call it a music video is like kind of a stretch, really. It's so cinematic and it's so Hollywood in that way. If anything holds us back, it's that Thriller is kind of bigger than the time it inhabits. By every measure, it's, you know, the best music video made in the 80s, but it's so much more than that, and it dominates this kind of like cultural imagination over the last 40 years. So I think it's bigger than this topic that we're arguing, which is why I'm going to give it to Like a Prayer.
Oh my God, I love it.
Okay, and that's really cool. I do think we need to say a couple things about Thriller because I don't know how much we've talked about that on this podcast. Number one, it had a movie budget, right? It actually had a major movie budget, and videos did in the 90s and the 2000s, but in the 80s they didn't. And so every penny of that is visible on that screen. The makeup applications are amazing. Incredible. The costuming is incredible. The special effects, as they are so good. The dancing is monumental.
Yes.
Monumental. I mean, there's a reason it continues, much like the Robert Palmer Girls, to be echoed in pop culture decades later. It will never lose its luster. But there's like 4 or 5 plus minutes of this music video in which there is no music. It is acting, etc. And I agree with John's kind of central point, which is it's not ultimately at the end of the day a music video. But I'm happy to give it to Like a Prayer, which is a great project in and of itself. The one thing, last thing I'll say about Thriller, apparently, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name?
John Landis?
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price, yeah.
With rapping.
Literally $0 for his voiceover in that, which is crazy to me. But whatever.
The funk of 40,000 years.
She sings and narrates.
I rewatched. So I rewatched all the videos for this, but like, I was like crying watching Thriller. It's so good.
Yeah.
and aha.
But it is out, and we will be moving Like a Prayer into the final two, which gives us a final two of Take On Me by Aha and Like a Prayer by Madonna, both 1 seeds. I would like to start in the middle with John Higgins. Where are you going here?
Take On Me by Aha. It is such an emotionally powerful piece of art, like Kate so well described. I just love it. I think it's a fantastic piece of work.
Kate Reculia, Take On Me or Like a Prayer?
I am going to give it to Take On Me for all of the reasons I elucidated, but Like a Prayer is exceptional. This video has everything: murder, churches, stigmata, burning crosses, making out with a black saint. The Vatican condemned it. It had all these commercial tie-ins. Pepsi said, no, Madonna, you cannot be our spokeslady because there's too much controversy, but you can keep the $5 million we gave you. Insane cultural capital. Also, she's so beautiful.
Oh my God.
In this video, and so joyful and so powerful. And it's directed by Mary Lambert, who is a film director who did a ton of videos, including Control and Miss Jackson, or excuse me, Nasty and Control for Miss Jackson. And also Material Girl, Like a Virgin, and Borderline, and Pet Sematary, as you do. But it's it's a really great, it is my peak moment of Madonna at her cultural power, and it's really fantastic. I do want to say, it won the video MTV Video Award for Viewer's Choice. It did not win Video of the Year. It was nominated. What do you want to think won that year?
Oh, I'm desperate to know.
What year
Please
was it?
tell
Sorry.
me.
85?
No, I think it's later than that.
No, it's later than that. It's like 87.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me.
Neil Young's This Note's for You.
Shut the
Oh
front
my
door.
God.
Over Like a Prayer, She Drives Me Crazy, Leave Me Alone, the Michael Jackson video I mentioned earlier, and Steve Winwood's Roll With It, which MTV was a
great
place in the 80s.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh,
Right?
Jesus.
That is a gay gasp 40 years later.
I am glad I was sitting down for that one. Yeah.
Insane. So,
That
like,
is-
I mean, should we give her the flowers that she never got then? But I don't know. But Aha, I think it's one-hit wonderness. It's second video-ness. It's just craft as a piece of art.
Derek, you're my last vote here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it to Take On Me. And here's my reasoning. We've had these debates before about like 80s pop culture moments, and Take On Me, when we did like, I think it was just best 80s single or best 80s one hit wonder or whatever it was, but yeah. So, and we've talked about this before. You can't do Take On Me in any other decade. It is so singularly 80s. Whereas Like a Prayer, if you shift it a little bit and it happens in 91 instead of 87 or whenever it happened, I think it's plausible. I don't think it's so 80s that it could only exist there, which is why I give it to Take On Me.
Great argument there. I also am giving it to Take On Me for all the reasons. One thing, we haven't talked about the director of this video, Steve Barron. He's Irish. He also did Money for Nothing. He did Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. He did Toto's Africa and Rosanna. He did Hold Me by Fleetwood Mac. Like, he did all of these incredible videos, and I don't think that we give enough credit to the directors of these videos. They were inventing an art form. And Kate, you brought up the fact that Mary Lambert did all those different videos. I find it fascinating that women were allowed to direct in music videos far more frequently than they were in long
Big
form.
commercial.
And honestly, it worked really well for a lot of them. But yeah, it's an incredible. Take On Me has had 2 billion views on YouTube. It was the first music video from the 1980s to achieve that. It is now at 2.3 billion views. In 2021, Rolling Stone listed it as number 14 in the greatest music videos ever made. And in September 2025, it was recognized at the BMI London Awards for receiving more than 10 million plays on US radio. The song, that's radio plays, but would any of that have happened without the video? And the answer is no, it would have not.
No.
So
And there's
There you
nothing
have
wrong
it,
with that.
folks. Nope, nothing wrong with that. Our pick for the best 1980s music video is Take On Me by Aha. Do you agree? Do you think radio should come back from the dead and get revenge on the podcast stars? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Blue Sky, TikTok, or Instagram. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. I want to say thank you to my panel. We are the world. We are the children. And thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content and you get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. I want my MTV.